Right now, two of the world's most powerful nations, China and the United States, are at war. No bombs, no boots on the ground, no battleground in traditional sense. Instead, semiconductors, shipping lanes, surveillance, tariffs. This is war redefined. Economic, psychological, strategic, yet brutal. The war between China and USA is being fought with algorithms, not artillery, with AI, not annexation. Now let us turn to South Asia. In Kashmir, the unarmed tourists were murdered in a barbaric, unforgivable act of terror. There cannot be and there is no justification for the gruesome, cowardly act. It must be condemned in the strongest possible terms. This was not just an attack on lives, it was an attack on the idea of peace, on the dignity of the human spirit. However, if our response stops at condemnation, if we don't reflect on why these acts keep reoccurring and how we choose to respond, we risk staying in the same endless loop, the endless loop of pain, outrage, and repetition. Before we move forward, here is a difficult yet necessary question we all must find an answer to. Why is it that modern wars are never fought on the soil of superpowers? Not in the US, not China, not Europe. They don't host wars, they orchestrate them. They orchestrate them elsewhere in the name of peace and prosperity. Vietnam, Iraq, Libya, Afghanistan, each one became a graveyard, not for the aggressor, but for the targeted. Where in South Asia, we bleed on our own land, we bury our own dead, and yet we call it strength, courage, and resilience. Just think what kind of strength and courage are we talking about if it keeps returning to the same loss of life, be it loss of life by an act of terror or of war. This isn't just a pattern, it's a trap. A terror strike occurs, we mourn, we rage, we retaliate, and then we wait for it to happen again. Every outrage is required. Every response is emotionally valid. But strategically and historically, we must ask, are we doing anything new? Or are we playing out the same script again and again? We are not evolving our strategy, we are rehearsing our suffering. So the harder question becomes, has the nature of war changed? Why we are stuck in a version from decades ago? To answer that, we turn to a vital framework about the 4 waves of warfare. He doesn't just describe how wars are fought, he explains how they are prioritized in modern day world. Let's walk through it. The first wave, tribal and territorial warfare, land, identity and conquest. The second wave, industrial warfare, tanks, airstrikes, large-scale destruction. Third wave, information and psychological warfare, espionage, propaganda, and cyber intrusion. And the fourth wave, the cognitive warfare, control of perception, identity, attention, and belief. This fourth wave is most silent, yet the most dangerous of all 4 waves. Now here's the shift. In today's world, these waves still exist, but the priority has inverted. The first wave, once the beginning of all wars, is now the last line of response. It's loud, visible, emotional, but reactive. The fourth wave, in contrast, has become the first line of defense. It activates and starts doing the damage long before a shot is fired. It shapes perception, sows division, rewrites truth, and influences public will. The US knows this, China knows this, but we in South Asia, we are still defending from outside in instead of from inside out. India and Pakistan remain caught in a legacy conflict, real grievances, deep history, but no evolution. Each tragedy becomes a spark to replay the same reaction. military movement, political posturing, social media jingoism, and then silence. No transformation, no shift in doctrine. We talk of sovereignty, but forget that in today's world, sovereignty also means intellectual autonomy. It also means autonomy of your own mind and your thoughts. Let's be absolutely clear. The Indian Armed Forces are a foundation of national integrity. Their courage is real. Their sacrifice is daily. They guard our borders with their lives. But they can't defend a mind that's never been trained to think critically. They can't shoot down misinformation, polarization, or emotional manipulation. The battle for the land is visible. The battle for the mind is silent and dangerously overlooked. True defense today must be multidimensional. Yes, arm the forces, equip the borders, but also embed media literacy into education. Create firewall of facts in a public discourse. Train the next generation to question before they react. Unify our internal narratives so the external ones cannot fracture us. Because no nation survives the fourth wave if its mind is divided, even if its borders are intact. So, I leave you with this. What is it that we truly want to protect? Our borders? Absolutely. Our lives? Without question. Our minds? Equally so. Because a strong nation doesn't choose between land and thought. It defends both with clarity and with courage. Claiming land secures our presence on the map. Claiming our mind secures our relevance in the world. Claiming our story protects us from being rewritten by others. Claiming our unity ensures no enemy can divide us from within. And claiming our future means defending both soil and soul together, not separately. Because in the age of invisible wars, a nation that defends only its borders may lose everything else without ever knowing it. You are listening to Claim Your Mind, and see you in the next time. Bye bye and good luck.